Today I would like to speak about women's sexuality. So this video would target women mostly, but I know that the majority of my followers are men, and it would be beneficial for them to listen to this as well. So we will talk about how femdom can be healing for women. And let me start from defining femdom here. Obviously, I do not mean a set of fetishes to satisfy men's needs, because as you know, there are lots of men who are sexually submissive and who are just looking for a woman to, well, satisfy them, to entertain them, to please them. Yeah, like a dom pleases a sub. But I'm going to speak not even about BDSM. Not about the BDSM world, not about something that's connected to BDSM community and those people who are already there. I would like to address just regular women. I mean, they're all over the world. And as I said, you don't have to be in any community. You don't have to name it anyhow in order to explore your sexuality. So, this is what I don't mean by femdom. Also, I do not mean female-led relationship. I'm going to speak only about bedroom. Yeah, maybe not just bedroom, but something sexual. And of course, sexual can start outside the bedroom. Yeah, it can start in a restaurant where you start speaking in a certain way. And this is a foreplay as well. I will speak about dominance for women who had some, well, not only sexual traumas. Yeah, you don't have to be, you don't have to have like some certain traumatizing experience in order to feel traumatized. Yeah, I know that sounds ridiculous right now, but lots of women live their life, and have sex with men that often hurts you, both physically and emotionally. And women then just carry it and they don't speak about it. For example, someone wasn't that nice to you, someone forced you, or you felt forced, even if it didn't feel like it didn't look like rape. Yeah, you still, maybe you were too young, maybe, or you were drunk and something happened, and then you regret about it, and maybe you did give your consent, but after that you still feel bad. And you cannot really do anything and you blame yourself. That's one case. And I mean, there can be so many different examples how women get traumatized having sex with men. And if we take the physical aspect, often fingering is, well, one of the situations when women's genitalia gets traumatized, scratched, or just hurt. And also, it is very unfortunate that when I spoke to women about it, and when we had these open conversations, because I have a different issue, I cannot say gently often. Like, I can be quite, well, aggressive if I don't like something. But I've met a lot of women who couldn't say anything, who would just expect their partner to guess that she felt uncomfortable while he was trying to please her with some poor technique that he saw in porn. But it takes both. Okay, so like if you are lying in bed, if you are not saying something, that's also lying. And I know that there are like some partners, some men that are ignorant and arrogant, and that they wouldn't react well, that it would be a reason for them to lose their erection or whatever. But most men, like good men, and I hope that you date only good men, and have sex only with good men, because when you have sex with not so good men, you just reward this behavior. Because men do not see sex as just sex. Like most of the time, that's a reward. Okay, like I'm great, I'm good. That's one of the aspects. So, or maybe you were actually raped, you were sexually harassed. Sexual harassment is such a tricky thing because, well, I when I think about it, I start just zoning out because I myself have a lot of experience with that. I cannot even count the amount of times I've been sexually harassed. And this is the reality women live in. Like, we don't feel completely safe. And yes, it does depend on how you look. Of course, we can say that everyone can be raped. That's true, because rape is not about sex, it's about power. But often, like, there are men who do not see the difference between sexual harassment and or just giving attention. And sometimes even for a woman, this line is not clear. Like, from an attractive man, it can be like flirting, and from an ugly and well, scary looking man, it would look like sexual harassment. So sometimes it's not easy to define. But the thing is that as someone who's been subjected to assaults and harassment and threats in the past, yeah, you might see some other interactions with men as just not safe, you know. And when maybe some man doesn't have this intention to do anything bad to you, and they often, honestly, like they often do not have these bad intentions. They just have poor socialization. I know that's kind of a long start, but I just want to talk about how a woman feels in this world and interacting with men, because we deal with our natural predator. This is like the only kind of people who do harm to us. Yeah, I mean, there are obviously cases when women beat and kill women. Yeah, but it is like nothing in comparison to what men do to women. We do not feel safe with men. And when a woman does not feel safe, she cannot be sexual. She can be sexy. She can be sexualized, but she cannot be like truly sexual, because female sexuality requires safety. This is very important. And why I'm speaking about it, like in terms of female dominance, yeah, in sex, because when you are in control, when you are in charge, you're safe. When he submits to you, when you don't let him do anything. And again, I'm talking about not when a woman wants to please some desires of a man, yeah, because there are lots of men who would whine, oh yeah, do this to me, dominate me, dominate me. I'm not talking about this scenario. I'm talking about more or less healthy dynamics in a relationship. But when a woman cannot be fully sexually open, femdom can help, because this is the way to heal, to feel safe. That's one of the methods. I'm not saying that it's the only one. Yeah, there are men, but I would say that it's a rare breed, yeah, who can truly make a woman feel safe. And for that, he has to educate himself. It doesn't come from within all of a sudden. So one of the ways to feel safe is to be in control. When I speak about it, because I mentioned this thing, I think, on Twitter, and I think that whenever you reveal what's behind this dominance and submission, that we are all traumatized. Yeah, of course, sometimes bananas are just bananas, obviously. But most of the time, they are not. Most of the time, we all come from our childhood. I mean, we always come from our childhood, yeah, but I mean, in terms of our preferences, our traumas, our choices, our desires, our needs, because through kink, we find something that covers the need that we have. that we cannot cover anywhere else. And for women to reach this feeling of safety, sometimes it takes to be in control, to be in charge. Well, for example, some women are scared of penetration. Maybe she was raped. Maybe her first, especially if, like, for example, it's a young woman and her first sexual experience was painful, wasn't great, and now she's scared to have sex. And it takes trust, I understand, because lots of men are not into being dominated. Lots of them. Some, like, I think in my experience, lots of them would find it arousing because it's something new. It's something they didn't try because they are very used to a woman like being passive. Then another percentage is like men who already like it, like who are sexually submissive. And also there are men who wouldn't like it at all. That's why it takes trust. This is not just a hookup thing. I mean, it can be, because I don't think that hookups are only superficial. You can have a connection and you can also discuss it. So it's not really about the amount of time you've known your partner. So imagine you're a woman who's scared of sex, who's scared of penetration, who's scared, not only scared, you don't have to feel fear. Sometimes it's just so discreet. Sometimes fear is discreet. Sometimes it looks like, well, you just don't want to have sex. It always makes me so sad when a woman says that she's not interested in sex, that sex is secondary to her. We have a divine instrument between our legs. There is an organ that is responsible only for pleasure. Sexuality represents our energy. Okay, I'm speaking like this, woo-woo guru. Sexuality represents our interest in life. This is where it starts. This is how we come to this world. Without sex, we wouldn't exist. This is the basis of life. We live such a short life. Next moment, and you wake up all old, wrinkled, with dry vagina. Definitely dry. Maybe now it's dry as well, but it will be dry when you're 80 or 90. That's for sure. What can you do to a man? You can tie him up. Or you can order him around. You can tell him what to do. Often women don't know what to order. What to tell them to do. Like, what's that? Oh, and, well, you don't have to. That's the thing. You don't have to. You can just sit there and ask him, what are you going to do for me today? How are you going to serve me? And probably he will respond, whatever you want. I will just do whatever you want, so that's still on you. Let's start with some foreplay. Do not start sex in bed. And what I mean by that is that sex starts in the brain. Sex starts in the situations before you come home, before you go and have sex. Because lots of women don't want to have sex because of what happened before the bed. Okay? So as I mentioned earlier, for example, you are in a restaurant, and you start speaking to him in a certain manner. You just feel that you are superior. And he's here just to please you. Obviously, discuss it in advance, because all of a sudden that would seem weird to him. I don't know, should I mention this, like, chivalrous moments when he moves your chair, opens the door, because this is just like the bare minimum. This is not submission, okay? I'm not even going to mention that, but when he does that, you receive it with pride. You receive it looking at him like this is how it's supposed to be. When you're at home, you can start ordering him around. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you order. It's not about him, okay? It's not about what he wants. It's about you. What do you want? Do you want a glass of water? Just say it. I actually prefer not to tell men what to do. I just express how I feel and I express the desire. I would say, I'm thirsty. When you are in bed, tie him up or just tell him not to move. You're gonna do everything. If he starts doing things to you, you're becoming an object of someone's manipulations. I understand that in like trust and a loving relationship, it doesn't feel like that. But we are not talking about purely healthy relationships, okay? We are talking about women who have issues with their sexual life. So while you are on top and he is powerless, just remember that you are not here to please his eyes. It's not about what he sees, okay? But at the same time, you will use it. He has to look at you with adoration. Men, if you're listening to this, if your woman wants to play femdom with you, see her as goddess. Look at her with admiration and adoration. Because if you just expect her to do everything, she won't be able to, especially if it's the first time. She doesn't know what to do. She's nervous. She's not used to that. Submission starts with a sub. Okay, so that's why it has to be an honest conversation before that, because he has to be submissive. Submission is not forced. I mean, some women would be into that, of course. Some women would find this like brat taming desire within themselves, but it's not the majority of women, especially who never try that. We are talking not about lifestyle, we are talking about very regular relationships, okay? The moment when a woman sees herself through men's eyes, and these eyes see a goddess, this is a healing moment. No, it's not gonna make her arrogant. It's not gonna feed her narcissism, even if sometimes it's necessary. It's gonna make her feel safe. I'm not going to concentrate on some BDSM practices like flogging or any kind of pain inflicting. It's not about that. It's about the intercourse itself. You have to be in charge. And a woman who is in charge doesn't put pleasing men as a priority, okay? It's not about him. It's about you. But a good man would be deeply impressed and would be satisfied if you are satisfied, because for a woman, in order to receive sexual pleasure, it requires to become selfish. And for a man, that's quite the opposite. He has to become altruistic in sex. I don't want to make a super long video, and we will continue next time. Yeah, next time let's speak about sexual techniques for women. Right? You're gonna say bye? Okay, bye-bye.